All right. So thanks for coming in or watching or logging in or whatever the hell we're doing. Thanks for logging in and watching us for another happy hour with Snap Forward. This week, Tim Hindes is with us again.
Hi.
And we're going to be talking about whatever's going on the internet and digital marketing. And I don't think we really have anything technical to talk about. Not a whole lot exciting has happened, except maybe that Intel's releasing their new processor. But from what I've read about it, it looks like it might be pretty boring.
But we're going to hit this world and beyond.
Yeah, because we're going to be talking about space this week for all the space nerds and ancient alien conspiracy theorists out there, right?
Right. I'm excited.
Yeah, right. Well, and so I'll start with my beer, because actually we're going to segue when we talk about your beer. So this week, or last week, I bought the Southern Tier Sampler Pack. So it comes with their IPA, their 2X IPA, which I really love, the Tangier, and this one I've never had, the Citra Hopped Session Pale Ale. That was my warm-up beer.
That was good, I bet.
That was very good. This one's a little, tangerine peels. So I thought I got a little more citrus in this than I did with that. It's good. I could probably have one and then go back to the 2X IPA. That's where it's at. So your beer. What's your beer?
My beer is the Pumpkin Ale. First I saw of the season of the Pumpkin Ales. Blockhouse Brewing brewed. The box says it's Lawrenceville. I thought they were affiliated with Pittsburgh Brewing Company, which I believe that they are. And it says it's brewed and bottled in Latrobe. So we'll just call it a regional beer.
Well, I think Pittsburgh Brewing is now in Latrobe, right? Or Latrobe.
Latrobe.
So I that sounds like it could be right.
Yeah. I meant to ask you. This was one of the topics I wanted to that I forgot about until now. But did you get an email from Facebook today talking about how you should start to think about your holiday advertising and start now?
No.
Yeah, I'll forward that to you. It's interesting because it talks about, if you're doing a product launch or if you're doing, some sort of awareness campaign, marketing campaign coming up around the holidays, primarily for retail, of course, that you should really start priming that pump right now.
So one of the things we wanted to talk about, we'll get to some current events going on that we wanted to talk about later. They're actually pretty funny. But one of the things we wanted to talk about was a friend of ours was asking us a question because, we do SEO and we have some knowledge on it, and he knew about it. So he's been getting these cold calls from an SEO company that at first, when he first described it, I thought, well, they're probably not real credible. But they actually were not. They were making points in the phone call that actually made them sound like they knew what they were talking about.
And you get those with SEO, you get those with Google AdWords, you get those with a lot of things. Yeah. It's just, hey, we can optimize things for you. We can make you
And generally they're like, oh, okay, we can do it for X amount of money, and it's generally they're too little or too much money, and they're, you wonder if they're really any good.
Right.
But they actually made some good points. So you and I, as we're talking to him, go to his website on our cell phones.
But we Google it first.
Yes, and that didn't end up very well, did it?
Well, the problem with him is that he's in a business where his other family members, extended and his immediate family members have very similar businesses. So you can't just search for his last name and the business that he's in, because you're going to get
everybody
cousins and the entire family. So you really have to know his exact name, including his middle initial, to find him.
So I thought, knowing that, okay, so these other guys are going to show up higher, especially if they have newer websites that are optimized for Google and search engines. But as we started getting to page 4 and 5 of Google, we started seeing national search results, and we started seeing things that were completely unrelated. So his ranking was so low that Google didn't even they didn't even realize he existed. Right. Except for the Google Places ad, which showed up right at the top of the page, which I don't understand, but I guess it's good for him that he even shows up there. Right.
As long as you can, so if you claim your spot in Google, as far as your Google map and everything, I think that for sure helps your chances, but that's one of the first things, especially as a small business, someone can do, is make sure that from a Google Play standpoint on the Google map
Populate
that you have claimed that, and you've populated it. You put your hours in there, you put your phone number in there, you put your website in there, so that at least that's one step further that you can get up in the rankings.
It's actually one of our top 5 things we recommended a couple of months ago on our blog, so go back and read that.
That's a plug.
Right. So
We need a bell. Ding.
Yeah, right. So we went to his website then, and then found that it's not, while it is technically responsive, the content is not. So you're seeing long strings of text that you can't possibly read because it's a letter on top of a letter on top of a letter.
Looks like the Matrix.
It looks like the Matrix. It looks like the Matrix waterfall.
Yeah.
And it turns out then, so as we talked to him about it, turns out he just had the site redesigned a couple of months ago.
Spent, a couple grand or more. Yeah.
Right.
And he's just beside himself because whenever he did that, he never checked it on the mobile.
Right.
And we checked it on iPads. iPads, it looks okay.
Right. And desktop, it looks fine. But when you go to a cell phone, and 50% of for a lot of websites, I don't know about his business specifically, but usually now 50% of all website traffic is mobile.
His clients are older.
Right. So,
inherently.
Yeah. Right. But so then we do find a couple of pages on Google, and what we find out there is that they lead to 404 pages.
Yep.
So because, and again, this goes to the website redesign, Google indexed, and this is actually happening with a client of ours right now, that they got a new site a while back, and we're doing their SEO. Google indexes the pages from the old website. Mm-hmm. And when you move to a new platform, you either keep the same exact structure so that link that Google already has indexed goes to the same exact page. So if it's www.snap-fwd.com/IT-service/we will save you a lot of risk and money, you need to have that exact same URL, or when Google sends somebody there, it's going to lead to a 404 page or a page cannot be found, right?
So you need to resubmit for sure.
Well, so you absolutely need to resubmit no matter what. But
how often do you recommend people to resubmit?
We do it a lot. You can do it. I don't remember what the limit.
Monthly, or do you?
We do it more than monthly.
Oh, really?
As we make changes a lot of times, and you can do it. I think up to 8 or 10 times per website.
Bless you.
Yeah, bless you. So we do it a lot, depending on how many changes are made. But even then, you have to 301 redirect a page. So if it's a slash, Ford Explorer, and it goes to /new Ford Explorer, then you have to 301 the old page to the new page. And I don't expect you to understand all of this, but basically if you go to Google and you search for yourself and you click on the page and you go to it and it goes to a 404, that's bad. So when your person is changing your website over to a new platform, you have to make sure that all of the old pages lead somewhere. They can't just go to a dead end, because eventually they're going to get deprecated by Google and they're not going to show up anymore. You have to 301 them or keep the same structure, is basically the moral of the story.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So, and if it is responsive, like I can tell you, like if they tell you the page is responsive, it can be responsive, but it actually has to be, the content has to actually look good.
Yeah. Absolutely. And one of my pet peeves, and this is, I don't know how this factors into the actual SEO, but I always appreciate, and maybe it's just more a nice thing to have for the users, but I always appreciate whenever they have view full desktop version on the mobile site.
Yeah.
Because sometimes I just can't get into, some menus, first of all, are very complex.
Yeah.
And you can't really, the little drop downs that they have don't do them justice. So I always like, because my phone can do it, looking at it from a full desktop version.
Yeah.
So I always recommend to folks I work with to make sure that full desktop version link is somewhere on there so that they can see it and zoom in and do what they want to do with it, so they understand what your brand is trying to look like normally, even though mobile is a big piece of that.
Well, now, a recommendation from a lot of companies is to design for mobile first.
Yep.
So that you don't run into that problem in the first place.
Oh, it's gonna get more and more. Mobile traffic is gonna grow. It's not gonna go away. So.
A lot of people, and it's funny because I use a desktop a lot. I like to use my desktop, but I hear more and more that people are now just using their iPads or using their laptop or using their phone. And we see that in the traffic that we're looking at for our clients. A lot of people are shopping for major purchases. Well, I like to use a desktop. They're shopping for major purchases on their cell phone.
Yeah. Whenever you fire up your desktop, do you have to crank it first?
No, man. You know I got the fast desktop. A high school senior was taking her senior photos in a river in Oregon, and in the background was a naked dude walking his dog in the river, twig and berries hanging out, just walking around. I don't know that.
Yes, it was me.
Really? You were well, you did go on a trip to Oregon, didn't you?
I was out there, hiking around. Yeah,
with your dog.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just letting it all hang out.
Yeah. So yeah, this girl got some senior photos that were impactful, memorable.
They were upstanding.
Yeah, right. And this guy, I don't even know that I guess at some point he realized what was going on, but apparently not in the photos.
It's just, there's so many, and I guess I really don't have a problem with it. We probably have more of a problem with it because we're American and it's not like something that is...
I actually don't have a problem
I don't have
with
a
it. I
problem
think it's
with
more funny than anything.
Yeah, I mean, what's funny is that they took advantage of it and they worked that into the whole shot and the whole sequence of shots. So like that's great. Like I love that. That's what makes it iconic and great. That's funny to me. So
speaking of caring, I'm going to jump ahead to something here. Colin Kaepernick not standing for the national anthem. Mm-hmm. Now, I'm a veteran. Still sometimes get a little teary thinking about it, or if there's something going on, if they have veterans out there, disabled veterans on the field, if you think about it a little bit, sometimes it gets to be emotional. Mm-hmm. What do you think about the Colin Kaepernick situation?
Well, first, thank you for your service.
Thank you. You're welcome.
I would say if you are in a position where you are working and representing an entity, that's bigger than you, then it's not really your decision to make that a stand. If you're wearing, and it could be a Burger King uniform, or it can be a suit, or it could be, you're there representing your employer.
Yeah, I gotcha.
Then, no matter what your personal beliefs are, if that's what your employer is all about and asks you to do and participate in, you have a greater obligation than your own personal beliefs. And they pay you, then they can choose not to pay you. So I don't have a problem with his opinions or his stand on things, but how he went about doing it, I think, is wrong. I think that he's not putting the big picture, into play, and I think in the end it's going to cost him.
I agree. I think my stance on this, I think people make a huge deal about it. To be honest with you, I don't care. I don't, while I joined the military, I didn't want to die for my country. I didn't want to die in that situation. Would I have if put in the situation? Probably. I mean, I would have done whatever I needed to do at the time. Mm-hmm. But whether he stands or sits, to me, doesn't matter. I know what I did. I know what a lot of other people do. I know people that are in much worse situations than me, and they might have a more strong opinion about it. But for me, what he does or does not do doesn't change how I feel about the situation. It doesn't really do much. It's not going to change my day. Now, he feels he was doing it for a reason. He has a cause that he believes in, that's his way of bringing attention to it. I think that if he looks at what the end result is, he didn't bring attention to his cause, he brought attention to him not standing. Mm-hmm. So in the end, he didn't really have a positive impact on the cause. There probably could have been something different he could have done. Mm-hmm. But whether he stands or sits, I mean, to be honest with you, if there was somebody in my company that if I were running the NFL, I think I would have something to say to him, and look, you're going to stand, all right? That's the way. This is what we expect of you. It's how you show respect. You're going to stand. But if he doesn't, then you take whatever appropriate action you need to. but there's people that are flipping out over it. I think there's better things to get upset about.
And that's a whole different topic that we can go on for a long time about, how there are content experts on social media now. Everyone has a voice, everyone has a soapbox, and they take that opportunity to make sure that they let you know where they stand on topics.
Right.
And you have that from Harambe and kids falling into.
They went off social media.
Yeah.
Did you see that?
Yeah, Cincinnati Zoo.
Yeah.
I mean, you have all these things, and it's people having opinion, and they just they use social media for that outlet because they need to, or they want to, or it's the only way that they've been taught. And instead of using social media as once it's out there, it's out there, and you need to really understand that it's public, and it's something that you have to use sparingly, and people don't.
So we can back off of that topic. But it actually sort of
we get
segues.
some of these wormholes, don't we?
I know, right? So it's actually this one segues into this article in Adweek. It comes from a report from Sprout Social that the findings were that too many promotional brand posts drive users away. So if you are a brewery and all you post about is our beer, our beer, our beer, our beer, that might be a bad example because I think people might actually like that. I don't
really know about any of this. Like, if the company's posting about themselves, I think I would like that. I wouldn't like them to post about something else.
Well, not something else that's off topic. I think it has to be relevant to what your people want to.
Another beer from another brewery, but
You have to understand that as a member, as you exist right now, in person, live and in the flesh, you're a member of a community.
Right.
You volunteer here, you go to church, you help people out, you expect some people to help you out. You're a member of a community. Online, that should transfer in the same way. You're a member of a community, so people don't want you to be throwing out your flyers here and there saying, I'm putting it in your windshield, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. Because
it's a good way of putting it.
That's the equivalent of what people are doing online, brands are doing online, what you're talking about here. It should be more of a ratio, like Chris Brogan's used it, of 12 to 1, where it's more 12 posts to help the community and then one post about yourself or promotion. Right. So, if you look back on and I'm not great at keeping the Facebook updated for the company, but I think the last post was on the National Park's 100th anniversary, and it was all about design and color palettes that matched national parks.
Yeah.
And so that has nothing to do with promoting me. I'm promoting. Just by me saying it, I'm getting my name out there. But it's something to say, here's something that's pretty cool. I'm sharing this with my community.
Well, and to give you a good example from our point of view, so we spend a lot of time on a car dealership, right? So we don't post, every post isn't, $5,000 off a car, or come in now for a sale, or this car is on special. We post a lot about road trips. We talk about, with the pack when you're going to go away for a weekend. We talk about how to maintain your vehicle properly. We talk about, whatever, recalls or whatever's going on, because you can't just be, people aren't always in the mood to buy, right? And it relates back to, and I read this book, and occasionally you read a book and it just hits you and you're like, oh my God, that's exactly what we're trying to do. Jab, 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 Right Hook by Gary Vaynerchuk, right? It's about, interacting with your audience, talking with them, giving them things that they want to read, and then occasionally, every so often, hitting them with the right hook with, okay, now maybe you want to buy something from me. So people won't even be there to see it if you're constantly just trying to sell them something. So it's developing that relationship online.
Right. And take it back even further to an earlier example. It's like the boy who cried wolf. You could keep saying wolf, 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 wolf.
Right.
And no one's going to listen to you. It's going to be white noise. So you have to have a balance of helping people out.
Right.
And think about people. I think about going down Vegas, the Vegas Strip. Have you been?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Okay, so
Many times.
the guys flipping the cards for you for the adult entertainment.
Yeah.
And trying to shove it in your face and come here, here.
Yeah.
That's exactly what people who only post about themselves are doing. It's like here. It's
taking
annoying. And you have to find who you want to be in that persona online and make sure that you're living up to that. So sharing stuff that's for the good of the community.
Well, and I think for us, now, so you read this article and it talks about how 46% of respondents say they unfollow brands for posting too many promotional messages. Mm-hmm. So that's half your audience gone. On top of that, Facebook is taking away your audience because they're trying to get people. I mean, they say it's because they're trying to develop the news feed, but in reality, the byproduct is that they're trying to make you pay to get in front of these people. That's why their advertising revenue is up $1 billion in the second quarter, because they're getting people like us to pay to get in front of the people we want to get in front of. So, you don't want to drive away the few that are normally going to see you anyway by constantly spamming them with garbage. Mm-hmm. So, in the end, I think we're a little down on social right now. Not that we don't want people to interact with their followers, it's just that a smaller business, especially a local business, doesn't have too many followers that are going to see their posts. We're big on video, like we're doing this now, and we're big on Facebook ads because Facebook ads are so highly targeted. If you're selling to a community that you can identify demographically, go at it.
Right.
But do not just post, hey, free, 10% off dental cleanings this week. Hey, teeth whitening is 50% off. Hey, you just can't hit people constantly. You got to talk about something they might want to actually read in here.
If the only reason that you're posting is you, then you need to reconsider.
Right. But and it's funny because you say that and it makes me think that's what everybody does personally on Facebook. Yeah. Right? So you're constantly posting about yourself. So the business almost has to be completely opposite of what all the normal people are doing on Facebook.
Right. And I tell people this all the time. I think you need to do it for yourself, and I think you need to do it for your business. But you need to determine your online persona. Mm-hmm. You have to have a philosophy for each social media, right. And have that responsibility, and say, here's what I'm going to do, and I'm only going to friend these people. This is my audience for this. This is how my posts are going to be formulated, and stick to that. Yeah. Because too often people stray and
your business can't be the productivity business, the responsible business, the environmentally friendly business, and then have a photo of you in the middle of a Kenny Chesney concert with garbage all over the place. Right? I mean, it's just got to be, you have to realize, what is your persona, what's not, and stick to it.
What if their persona is clickbait?
Funny you should mention that. So go ahead, because this is one that you like that I didn't see or I didn't read. So I'll let you take this one.
Well, I just think it's fascinating that you have, and I think we touched on this the last time I was here, but you have Facebook that's cracking down on the clickbait. So for folks that don't know, clickbait is really where you have these sensationalized headlines, and it's like, hey, check out these 80 stars. You won't believe what they look like now, and
you won't believe what happened when she opened up her refrigerator.
And really, it's just clickbait. It's meant to get you to the site so that they can increase ad revenues and place ads in front of you. So Facebook is really trying to crack down on that, which is great. And I think that there's a couple other entities that are out there. I don't know that they're really organized to the fact that they have a name, but it's kind of like anonymous, where they'll go through, they'll click through, and if you look at the comments, they'll say, here's what they look like now, or here's what she found in her fridge.
Right, which is great, because it stops you from having to...
So don't click through, just look at the comments, and it'll tell you. But it's great to see that Facebook is cracking down on that.
Yeah, you know what, I don't like them, I don't click on them, because I know where it's going to take me some stupid slideshow. I have to click 100 times, I'm going to have a bunch of pop-ups. But I don't even like seeing it, and I try to hide it as much as I can on my page. But when you have other people that are sharing it, it's annoying.
Yeah. Well, I equate it, and I haven't done it yet, but I might start if it's an issue, especially if Facebook's doing it, and if it happens on Facebook. But you can, how you can report junk mail, and start doing that. I mean, I might try to look at and see if I can do that and say report this post, and hopefully
keep it.
Let's all help clean up Facebook together.
Yeah, right.
Let's help pad Mark's pockets.
So, Callie was incredibly excited about this one today, and it didn't work for me at first, and somehow it started working later. Instagram Zoom. Is she listening?
Yeah.
Okay.
When did this come about?
Today, I don't know. When did it come about?
I found out about. I saw a post yesterday that said you can Zoom. I don't know if it happened yesterday or.
For me, and it's funny because she told me about it today, and I tried it, and she tried it on my phone, and it wouldn't work. Now, my Instagram was updated yesterday according to my app history.
Okay.
But then a half an hour later, I tried it again, and it worked. So you can just zoom like you would any other photo, and it zooms in on what you're looking at.
That's good to know.
Callie really liked it. It was a.
What did you zoom in on?
I saw a post from like my college, and then like their caption, it was like you can now zoom in on the thing. So I just went like that, and it was.
Oh, cool.
It just enlarges it.
It's pretty cool. The photos are still a little bit low res, so you see a lot of blocking in it. But I guess it's pretty cool. Maybe they'll get higher res, and you can zoom in better.
So whenever whenever that girl puts her senior photos up online of me in the background with walking my dog,
the world can zoom in on it. Yeah,
but it'll be a little bit pixelated,
I was
right?
afraid where you were going to go with that. I was getting nervous. I didn't know where we were going to go with that. Actually, one of the cool things that I've not seen a lot of yet is 360-degree photos. Have you seen these yet on Facebook?
Oh yeah, I love them.
That's awesome, and I do not see them a lot.
It's just panoramic.
Yeah.
If you upload a panoramic, that's what
and you can
Facebook does.
You can buy a 360-degree camera too. You can do it that way also. That's so cool. Have you seen those?
You can you move your phone.
Like you can move your phone or your finger, and it'll actually look all around.
Yeah.
That's awesome, but nobody does it.
Well, how often do you take a panoramic?
Yeah.
I don't take a panoramic very often, but
Those photos are always on Tumblr, and you just look at one section of the photo at a time.
well, this one it actually moves like you can move it like around. It's like smoothly. They actually have 360-degree videos too on YouTube.
They're very hard to look at.
Yeah.
It's not fun to watch.
I'm hoping it gets a lot better. I know I saw one in a race car a couple of months ago that was really cool.
That'd
You
be
could
cool.
look the whole way around the race car as he's driving down the track.
That's fun.
Yeah.
I feel that NASCAR, I mean, I don't watch NASCAR, but I feel that from what I've heard from people, they do some pretty innovative things with social media and with their technology, and they're really trying to get that crowd into it. And I applaud them for that. I think it's really interesting what I've heard that they're doing. A lot of real time stuff. Looking around. I mean, that's great. So
Yeah. It's anytime.
maybe someday I'll get into it.
I don't know. I don't think I will. I think that, but I mean, if my kid ever does, then that would probably get me into it.
Yeah.
So we're gonna hit one more thing before we quit. We'll talk about the other stuff next week. Space news.
Yeah.
So Callie said that she read an article that they found another Earth, possibly, right? That's how many light years away?
I think it was like something billion. I think trillion or billion.
So it's far.
It was
It's
far.
far.
It was like 65 or something, like 90 or something. I don't
Earth
know.
2.0.
Was it anywhere near that one that has the megastructure around the sun, the star?
No.
No, it's completely different. So we're finding all sorts of things, right?
Mm-hmm.
So apparently the Russians found a signal that could be just a fluke. It could be like some radio signal that bounced off of a sun flare, like in Men in Black and whatever. Or if it is artificial, if it is coming from this planet that's 94 light years away, it's from a civilization that is much more advanced than us.
It doesn't surprise me.
No. The truth is out there. There are aliens.
Oh yeah.
What's the show?
I
love the show about aliens that says like
Third Rock from the Sun. That's before your
Ancient
time.
aliens.
where they work in Quantico or whatever, and Scully and Mulder.
Oh, X-Files.
Love
Oh,
X-Files.
okay, I got you.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
But not enough to remember the name.
Yeah, I had like a brain fart there for a minute.
Well, I mean, for as many planets as there are in this universe, I'm sure there's got to be one, right? Although I just read an article that they say there might be fewer than we actually thought.
Oh really?
Like it's more rare than we would actually think. But I don't know. Who knows?
But you have to factor in the length of time.
Yeah.
You know, and if it's over so long, you know, billions and billions and billions of years,
Right.
you know, that there's been life, you know, you have to think that somehow those overlap with different worlds in some fashion. I mean, I can't imagine that this is so perfect here that it doesn't exist elsewhere.
Well, and if you look at our own solar system, Mars was very close to having life there. So, you know, if we have one in our solar system and then one near miss, and that's only in one small area, and there's an entire galaxy and there's a universe out there, I would think the possibilities are strong that there's at least one other.
Right.
Just, are they ever going to make it here? Who knows?
I don't know.
I don't know either.
Build me a wormhole.
Well, apparently we can't get rockets to lift off properly because SpaceX had an issue today.
Yeah.
Apparently they blew up the internet, or
Right.
at least one of the satellites.
Well, it was a Facebook satellite that was going to Africa, Middle East, and Europe. So it was meant to increase connectivity over there, which would have been a very nice humanitarian thing, at least on the surface. So,
Yeah.
yeah, it's unfortunate.
It is
But,
unfortunate. But they said nobody died.
Big fire.
Probably an incredibly expensive explosion, but I guess maybe they have insurance for that.
Elon probably has insurance
I
for
would
that.
imagine.
Yeah.
So we're wrapping it up. Coming into the Labor Day weekend, what are you looking forward to this weekend?
Laboring.
Laboring?
I've got to
You're
labor.
going to do some work.
Yep, I can't get away from it. It's a busy time of year for me, and maybe I'll go out on a hike somewhere in the park. But yeah, I'm gonna be working a lot.
I got to catch up on some blog posts. That's all the work I got to do. I got my anniversary this weekend.
Oh, congratulations!
Thank you. So it's our 11th, and we're going out to dinner. There's actually, so it's not like a real nice anniversary dinner place, but Texas State Brazil.
Oh yeah.
It's not an anniversary like a nice restaurant, but we did go to the one in Aruba on our honeymoon.
Okay.
So we figured it was appropriate to give it another go, and
And that's at Station Square.
yes.
See, I was down at Station Square last weekend for the most amazing race for the Salvation Army.
Okay.
And it's basically just like the Amazing Race, and they take you all over Pittsburgh, and you have
Is that
to.
what that was at the point?
We didn't go to the point. No,
There was something going on at the.
there was something going on at
Yeah.
the point. Yeah, we passed
It
that.
looks like a race though.
There was something for ALS at the point.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so there was 27 teams, pairs that ran all over the city, and I mean we had to run a half marathon. I mean it was intense. I had to climb a rock wall. We had to transport water,
Oh, wow.
and I mean you're doing these different challenges all over the place. So it was
That
pretty.
sounds like fun.
It was pretty interesting. So we had a good time, but
Facebook is spreading the word.
oh nice.
Yeah, how about that?
Well, we're just at an hour.
Yeah, no,
How
we're gonna
about
have to wrap this up soon.
30 seconds, and I won't have to restart the camera.
All right. Yeah, I think I'm going to the pool and maybe golf once, and then we got our anniversary dinner.
Good.
I just heard one of my buddies is going to be in the Pittsburgh 5K, and he said that the best thing about running the Steelers 5K is that the rib fest is at the end of it.
That's great.
I know that would get me running. I'd run hard for that one.
Yeah, I actually might go down to the Rib Fest tomorrow night.
That's a good one.
So
yeah,
we'll see. That'll get me out of the house for a little bit.
yeah, cool. All right, hey, thanks for watching. Appreciate spending the time with us, and we will see you next week for Happy Hour Snap Forward.